All right. So this is Brutal Massacre in Sudan. As you know, this channel is about me just learning more about the world around me and just, archiving my thoughts on topics that are currently going on in my lifetime and I guess timeline, if for whatever reason in the future we figure out that there are alternate timelines and alternate universes, this is the universe one. So anyways, let's get into the video. I know that I know my vibe is very lighthearted and kind of upbeat right now, but I have a feeling that this video is gonna fuck me up. And I've deleted like so many videos of me just reacting around stuff going on in the world, and damn near came to tears in the majority of these videos, and I deleted them. But you know what? We're gonna see this one through. I told my fiance we're gonna see this one through, and it's just archive thoughts. But if I do say something that's insensitive, I apologize. This is just giving me my raw reaction to whatever's going on in the world, and my brain is a little weird. Like sometimes I'll think about how I would view something if I was somebody else. So sometimes I might seem like I'm on the fence, or I'm like back and forth, but it's just kind of how my brain processes complex information, or just it could even be basic information, and I'm just trying to comprehend it. Anyways, let's get into the video. Brutal massacre in Sudan. I already know it's going to be sad.
There's a brutal massacre playing out right now in Sudan where hundreds of civilians were murdered in a hospital earlier this week, and that's just part of it. We're seeing videos and hearing reports from eyewitnesses on the ground that the RSF, or Rapid Support Forces, are going house to house, killing every man, woman, and child. In fact, the violence is so extreme that the blood-stained earth can be seen in satellite imagery. Now,
you know what? I saw this. So I was on Instagram, and there's this guy. He just brings up random facts about things that are on social media. And before he said to not look up the coordinates, and me being me, like, or I guess the majority of people are gonna just look it up, the coordinates, before actually hearing the story. And I looked up this the coordinates, and it was in Sudan. It was like between these two, I guess, like I won't even say major cities, but towns. But it was a small little village, and it was just scorched earth, with just bodies, and it was just black, like just black marks, like Pompeii almost, like where you could just see that there are people there, but you could just see like the markings of where they were. It was crazy.
It is a developing situation with a lot of unknowns on the ground. So let's dive into what we know so far about this recent uptick in violence in the ongoing Sudanese civil war. Now, a couple days ago, October 26th through the 28th, the RSF, or Rapid Support Forces, more on them here in a minute, captured El Fasher, the last major Sudanese armed forces held city in North Darfur. The SAF withdrew from key positions, allowing the RSF forces to enter the city, marking a potential turning point in the war. El Fasher was a humanitarian hub, sheltering as many as 260,000 people, and that is the area right now that the RSF is continuing to rampage through. Now, in recent days, we've seen countless videos published by the RSF showing their elements methodically moving house to house, clearing them, killing them, of every man, woman, and child. Now, as a little background here from the BBC, they say Sudan plunged into a civil war in April 2023 after a vicious struggle for power broke out between its army and a powerful paramilitary group, or the RSF, the Rapid Support Forces. More than 150,000 people have died in the conflict across the country, and about 12 million people have fled their homes in what the United Nations has called the world's largest humanitarian crisis. Now, a little information on the SAF versus the RSF, the two major belligerents in this conflict. There are some smaller armed groups as well. SAF stands for Sudanese Armed Forces. This is the official military of Sudan, and they're working to preserve centralized control over the country. They are backed to various degrees by Egypt, Turkey, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. The RSF, or Rapid Support Forces, is a paramilitary organization backed also to varying degrees by the UAE, Egypt, Turkey, Iran. Control.
I'm trying to take in a lot of information. I have to rewind it. I'm sorry.
Over the country, they are backed to various degrees by Egypt, Turkey, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. The RSF, or Rapid Support Forces, is a paramilitary organization backed also to varying degrees by the UAE, as well as remnants of the Russian Wagner Group. Now, the core argument here back in 2023 had to do with integration of the RSF into the larger SAF. SAF wanted that integration to take place inside of 2 years, and for the Rapid Support Forces, their leadership structure would remain junior, so it would be a subordinate element to SAF. RSF wanted integration after 10 years while maintaining their own chain of command, their own business interests, and they wanted their chain of command to be equal to that of the SAF. That was not resolved despite some attempts at negotiations, and the fighting has raged.
One of the things that's crazy when I'm hearing this is like both, we'll just say groups are, I won't say both innocent, or I won't say both groups because I don't know about all I've heard so far, I think, is RSF for the most part. I think it was RSF that was the one that was killing people. Hang on, let's go back. I'm sorry, guys.
There's a brutal massacre playing out right now in Sudan where hundreds of civilians were murdered in a hospital earlier this week, and that's just part of it. We're seeing videos and hearing reports from eyewitnesses on the ground that the RSF, or Rapid Support Forces, are going house to house, killing every...
Yeah, I thought it was the RSF. I thought it was the RSF. So the RSF has been killing innocent people. Now it'd be different. Like this is the crazy thing to me. It'd be different if these people that they were going house to house were like bad people. You know what I mean? But these are just innocent people, and it's always, when you see war, it's so many times where innocent people are being killed. And I'm not even saying that like there aren't soldiers who are getting killed who are technically innocent, but it's like, if you're a soldier, you signed up for war and battle. But it's crazy to me when you have these groups or like armies or whatever that kill innocent people and harm innocent people. I hate that. Like, that's one of the things to me about war that is horrible. Like, I already agree that the death with soldier to soldier is crazy. Excuse me. But it's the innocent people who are just living in the region who are affected from the war is crazy to me. So sad.
SAF wanted that integration to take place inside of 2 years, and for the Rapid Support Forces, their leadership structure would remain junior, so it would be a subordinate element to SAF. RSF wanted integration after 10 years while maintaining their own chain of command, their own business interests, and they wanted their chain of command to be equal to that of the SAF. That was not resolved despite some attempts at negotiations, and the fighting has raged ever since. The most notable uptick recently was a hospital killing just a few days ago in North Darfur. According to the Associated Press, Sudan's paramilitary forces killed hundreds of people at a hospital, including patients, after they seized the provincial capital of North Darfur over the weekend. The 460 patients and their companions were reportedly killed Tuesday at the Saudi hospital by fighters from the Rapid Support Forces in the city of Al Fashir. This is according to the Director General of the World Health Organization. They say as a part of the assault, RSF fighters went from house to house, beating and shooting at people, including women and children. Many died of gunshot wounds in the streets, while others were killed as they tried to flee to safety. Now, in a report late on Tuesday, the Yale School of Public Health's Humanitarian Research Lab put out some interesting imagery that I'm going to run through here, documenting some of these mass killings. And it says something, the scope of the violence, when the mass killings can be documented from satellites in space. And that's what we have here. Again, this source is the Yale Humanitarian Research Lab. I will link their full report in the description below. First image here, they say, was collected on October 27th. The presence of clusters of light and dark colored objects consistent with the size of human bodies. Reddish ground discoloration in vehicles are also visible. These observations are not seen in prior satellite imagery. Second picture here, they note two reddish ground discolorations that are visible and not seen in prior imagery. Multiple vehicles present in the same area, which appears consistent with the door-to-door clearance operations. We should note, again, by most accounts, the SAF, the militant group, not militant group, but the actual Sudanese military, left the area. So these house-to-house clearance operations appear to be exclusively focused on civilians. Third picture here, they say the presence of two clusters of light and dark colored objects consistent with the size of human bodies, as well as reddish ground discoloration and vehicles also visible. Picture 4 here, imagery shows the presence of clusters of objects, ground discoloration, and light tactical vehicles. The objects within these clusters measure between 1.5 and 2 meters in length. A group of light technical vehicles appear to be blocking the road near what appears to be a red discoloration on the ground. One cluster of objects is flanked by 3 light technical vehicles. And image 5 here, imagery shows the presence of clusters of objects along the defensive berm. These objects are not visible on imagery collected on 26 October, and the appearance of these objects coincides with the reports that civilians were shot attempting to flee Al-Fashir over the berm. In fact, a quick note on that berm, according to CNN, they quote Nathaniel Raymond, the executive director of the research lab, saying, quote, "The rapid support forces have surrounded this city in an earth wall called a berm that's as high as 9 feet. So the context here is that these people inside are what we call a kill box. They have been walled in to be killed systematically, and right now, the rapid support forces are doing just that." In fact, we are starting to see a number of international organizations speak out against this and notify the world that this is happening. We have this video published just a couple days ago from the United Nations Human Rights Office.
We are receiving multiple alarming reports from Sudan that the rapid support forces are carrying out atrocities, including summary executions, after seizing control of large parts of the besieged city of El Fasher in North Darfur and of Bara city in North Kordofan state. It is an extremely precarious situation, and the risk of further large-scale, ethnically motivated violations and atrocities is mounting by the day. Concrete action is urgently needed to ensure the protection of civilians in El Fasher and safe passage for those trying to reach relative safety. We remind the RSF commanders of their obligations under international humanitarian law to ensure the protection of civilians and to ensure the passage of essential supplies and humanitarian assistance.
Now, turning back to that CNN report, they say reports of RSF fighters committing large-scale massacres began to emerge within hours of the Sudanese military's withdrawal from El Fasher earlier this week. These accounts have been corroborated by mounting evidence that includes videos and photos from the ground, survivor testimonies, and, as we saw just a moment ago, satellite imagery. Now, they do have some pushback here from the RSF. They say RSF Chief Mohammed Dagalo, known as Hemedi, acknowledged Wednesday that there had been violations, and he said an investigative committee would be launched to investigate and hold accountable any soldier or officer who committed a crime. In a separate statement, the RSF denied claims of killings at the hospital, describing them as fabricated narratives with no connection to reality, despite, of course, what we have seen, mounting evidence of atrocities. And a quick note on the further delineation between the SAF and RSF. The SAF has been accused in multiple occasions of targeting civilians or being...
Okay. Hang on, let me go back. Because I was wondering if the other side was also doing anything crazy.
And a quick note on the further delineation between the SAF and RSF. The SAF has been accused...
Okay, yeah. He did say it's the little terminology. I can't even think of the word for it, but SAF, RSF, or however you put it. So both sides are doing wrong. I think the one that was just highlighted here was the RSF. And because I was wondering, like, if the other side was doing wrong as well. But like I said, either way, like, there are innocent people being affected by these people who just want land or resources or business, or they don't like the timeline or whatever. Like, the people who are making the decisions are controlling if people, like innocent people, are living and dying. And it's like people have no sense of, like, this is a civil war for as far as I'm understanding it. This is my first time hearing about all this stuff. So, oh, and then also I need to say that the image that I saw wasn't the image that he showed in his video. I thought it was the same one, but it was a completely different situation.
Used in multiple occasions of targeting civilians or being indiscriminate in their shellings of RSF-controlled areas. But when we're looking at some of the more significant atrocities, just brutal atrocities, including the one being carried out right now those tend to come at the hands of the RSF, and there's not really a close second there. CNN says multiple videos shared online over the past 3 days show RSF fighters rounding up and killing large numbers of unarmed people. CNN was able to match the insignia worn by the fighters in several of the videos to the one used by the RSF. They say most of the videos appear to have been filmed and shared by the rebels themselves. Other videos show armed RSF fighters driving through large swaths of land, apparently hunting civilians who are attempting to flee. In one video, the rebels are heard saying, quote, "Catch the girls." And that's another mark of this conflict that we've seen for a few years now, is without a doubt large-scale, widespread, indiscriminate killing of civilians, men, women, and children, and the capturing and raping of women, young women, girls, is probably a better way to put it, by the RSF. So no doubt, as these atrocities are ongoing and the cold-blooded killings are happening throughout Al-Fashir, we have to recognize as well that there likely are a large number of young, very young women being captured by the RSF and raped day in and day out. That's the situation on the ground in Sudan right now. We are starting to see more and more countries speak out, become more vocal about this ongoing conflict. Not a lot in terms of actions being taken, at least not at this point. In terms of United States reactions or response, I've not really seen anything at all, or even a mention. I could have.
And that's why I kind of wanted to make a video on this, because so often when we hear about the United States getting involved in foreign affairs, and I get people want to say America first, and I do agree with you. Like, there are a lot of issues that are going on here in America, but there are a lot of also issues going off abroad, and a lot of people are so focused on like Israel and Palestine or Ukraine and Russia, but there's stuff going on in Africa or like even South America, and you know, I'm pretty sure there's stuff going on in Asia and a lot of other countries that we just don't hear about in mainstream media. And one of the things I kind of want to highlight on this channel is just the things that we see or that we have strong opinions on aren't always highlighted, because, for instance, there are people who will probably say like, "Oh, you're not talking about Israel and Palestine," and then they'll have people on both sides arguing with each other. But then you'll have people who are mad that you're not talking about Israel and Palestine when there are other things going on in the world that might be a main focus for you. Like the stuff in Sudan is crazy to me. Like, it's like, I do agree that the stuff going on in Palestine and Israel is crazy, and Russia and Ukraine is crazy, but it's stuff going on all over the world. And I think for people to just be so hyper focused on what the mainstream media is pushing is and then the fact that you might not talk about it as an issue, because for me personally, like, I didn't really say anything on Israel and Palestine because I didn't really know anything that was going on, and I have been a little bit more aware doing research on it. But I also, in finding out about that, you know, I also started doing research on stuff going on in Sudan, or like dang, I can't think of the other country, but they got like kids, like child labor and all types of crazy stuff, like forced to work in mines at like 6 years old and stuff. I can't think of the country. It's not coming to the top of my head. But let's get back into the video, and then I'll continue.
Missed that. We'll probably hear some condemnations is what I would expect here in coming days. But either way, pretty significant atrocities playing out right now in Sudan. We'll do our absolute best to keep you updated as more information becomes available. But that's all we got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.
Thanks, Preston Stewart. I apologize for not reaching out. I've been trying to reach out to people before I react to their videos, but hopefully you don't mind me using this video. And if you do, just please reach out to me. But like I was saying, man, it's so much stuff going on in the world that the mainstream media isn't covering. And I think one of the things that I want to do with this channel is just to, for one, learn more about the stuff going on in the world around me, because I'm pretty much isolated in my location, And I don't really watch the news or anything like that. So if you don't know that, I'm a trader, and if it's not like macro or trading related, like I really don't hear too much stuff going on about a lot of things. And the point of this channel is to archive my thoughts and ideals and beliefs and just thoughts on things or random topics. But I think this is really sad what's going on in Sudan, and I'm I'm I feel for the people out here. I feel for the people. But anyways, pretty touchy topic. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and you learned something new as well. Anyways, peace. Love you guys.
Man, even Jesus had a shooter, and God be having unbelievers that didn't mess up their demeanor. And yes, they know it's hard, they know, cause when they be up in those trenches, man, they show out. But what they do